Belfast is a city of gangs. In East Belfast, the 500-strong Woodstock Tartan centres around a youth club in the midst of their area where, like any other teenagers in any other city, they come to play their music and meet their girls. They're almost all between 16 and 21 years old. Blue denims are their uniform, and they call themselves Tartans to mark the link with Scotland that runs so strong throughout the Ulster Protestant community. Here in the club, they're kept peacefully busy, but it's once they get out on the streets that the chance of trouble follows them. The authorities regard them as yet another major hazard to Belfast's prospects for peace. But the Tartans claim to see themselves as the guardians of the Protestant areas against Catholic attack.
An ordinary street gang in England is just there to create disturbances and vandalise wreck property. We're there to defend our area against attacks by our IRA gangs.
George and Harry are two young Tartans, like so many other people in the Belfast ghettos, unwilling to be identified. But they like to claim that their gangs have now become the defenders of their area against Catholic attack.
And in the course of IRA gangs attacking our area, we have to put up barricades. And it's just unfortunate that somebody's car has to be used, or it has to be used. We have to keep them out any way we can, and by any means we can. But there'll come a day when we'll not defend, because we're getting shot down now defending. And there was a Negro was shot there about 3 months ago, and he just said 2 weeks before he died, if I can't live like a man, I want to die like one. And that's the way we feel. They're not letting us live like men, so therefore we'd be better off attacking them and dying like men.
The trouble is here that the enemy are always so close. If you're feeling furious about some political move, some new concession to the other side, there are so many tempting targets for reprisal just across the street. Down here in East Belfast, in a sea of loyalists, there's the isolated Catholic pocket of Short Strand. The Protestant areas here have had more than their fair shares of bombing and shooting. Every morning, they wake up and look across the street at the very community they may be blaming for the latest round of trouble. In the light of this, it's less surprising that they don't seem too bothered about anything the Tartans may get up to. Well, where's the borderline lie, George?
This is the borderline here. The road is the borderline of this area. And on the other side of that road is all Roman Catholics. Where you're standing on is all Protestant.
And what are you trying to do yourselves?
Well, when IRA mobs come out and attack this Protestant area, we have to beat them back, because the soldiers don't be able to seem to do this.
You lived in this area all your life, George?
Yeah.
If you had a complete choice, would you go on living in this area all your life, George?
At the minute I would, because they need us here to protect them against the Roman Catholics.
Harry, would you?
Well, I'm here to defend our part of town, that's what we've been doing, So I stay here until Ulster's passed, sort of thing,
The trouble is that in the ghettos, the Tartans are given every encouragement to believe everything they say about the respectability of their own activities. All the people who in any other society might be trying to talk them out of trouble, in East Belfast seem to be backing them all the way. What do you think about the Tartans yourself?
I think they're a great bunch of boys.
Why are the police suddenly so unpopular here? Because in the old days it used to be everybody wanting the police in and the army out.
Police aren't unpopular here, just happened as they turned on the Tartans after the Vanguard rally last Wednesday night for no reason at all. The boys weren't doing anything.
What is it that makes the Tartans... I mean, there have always been street gangs in Belfast. What is it that makes the Tartans any different from any of the others? Better or
These
worse?
are our
If the Tartan
boys.
weren't in this area wouldn't stand at all.
These are our boys off Tamara. That's what it
The
is.
police turned on the Tartan. It wasn't them that started the riot here at all.
We depend on the Tartans
For what?
or defend us.
After all, they're standing at night, round the corners, the police comes along. They'll say, move on, but where are they going to?
The Tartans are only the start of it.
What happens next?
It'll come to the whole Protestant population and have to come out and do what they're doing to get anything in the country.
The police and the troops who have to handle the Tartans now find their usual roles in Protestant areas reversed. The police, who in the past have been far more popular than the army, are accused of ruthless tactics in the manner in which they've driven the gangs back from the border of Catholic areas. They and the soldiers have to bear the brunt of the frustrations of the whole Protestant community, young and old, who bitterly resent the current kid-glove approach in handling the Catholics, and the flow of concessions, the Protestants' hated enemy. There's a constant effort to use the RUC on the streets whenever possible to bring back some semblance of normal policing. The Tartans' complaint is that the police only really crack down on the Protestant side of the fence. But the answer to that, of course, is that no one will risk using the police with their batons against a Catholic crowd when there's so often a gunman in the background. In the end, even routine hooliganism has to be handled as a military problem with troops on hand, as long as even the smallest child with a rock can claim he's a soldier for his sect. Come the night, and the Tartans are out. In ones and twos, in groups that can build into hundreds in a flash if there's trouble, they walk the streets, relishing their newfound local respectability as the accepted keepers of the faith. All young gangs in all cities have always fancied that they were heroes. But here, there are even adults who are prepared to call them that too.
I think I'll end up in civil war, which is a thing that we don't want to happen, is a civil war. Because innocent people get killed in civil wars.
But why do you think it's going to be a civil war?
Because they're pushing the Protestant people back, so they can be pushed back no further.
One of the worst problems on both sides of the fence in Ulster is that in the Belfast ghettos you can get away with almost anything by using the blanket excuse that it's for the cause. The Tartans aren't really a bit more notable than the sort of street gangs you find in the slums of any English city. It's just that here they've found an enemy their parents aren't too unhappy to see them fighting. The sort of social problems that cause juvenile delinquency anywhere else in the world, combined with a political frustration they can use to dignify their feuds and their boredom. And it's this false status that makes them the threat they are.